Hello, my name is Joe Young, and I would like to share some of my experience so far with you. A lot of my life, I have struggled with my weight. I have used this as a crutch and called myself names to make things feel easier. I have used my feelings as a cause to be a loser, lived my life mostly by pushing away and pushing back people who have wanted to help me be more social and active. 3 years ago, I weighed 400 pounds. Had to see it to believe it. I could barely find clothes to buy and never had any inkling to go out and see friends. If I did, I was layered up, sweating profusely, and trying to hide my body from anybody that was looking. I dated a few times, and I either felt about myself that it wasn't going to work, or how they felt about me was working against me in the relationship. But in reflecting, most of my thoughts revolved, and still do at times, of feeling that there was something better to be found, and maybe stronger, bigger, and not just physically. This manifested in my partner, and always asking what's wrong, and you come down and you say, it's nothing. I don't want you to think there's anything wrong. And it drains and it drains, and they get to you and then they leave. Nobody wants to be around that. I'm going on too much here. 3 years ago, I stepped on a scale one of the nights, and I went to a friend's, and they convinced me into going into their hot tub. And we joked around about the time I broke his mother's oven door handle by leaning on it, and it's still to this day, his parents, when they see me, they're like, "Oh, you're the guy who broke our oven handle." Like, yes, I am. Well, later that night, I went into his bathroom and I hopped on the scale. I was feeling really good about myself. I must be doing okay. I'm 400 pounds. I'm gonna admit to you that I cried myself to sleep that night, and it was terrible, and I'm glad that I did. It was hard. I look back now at that night, and I'm glad that I had the courage to get on that scale. If I had never, I would have died. You can't keep growing like that at 22 and plan to live forever. The next day at home, my friend came to me, and after years, maybe not years, maybe a year and a half of asking me to come to the gym and lose this weight and have some fun, surprise, surprise, I said yes. And he's like, oh, it sucked. It was hard, and I sweated so much. I was shiny through my clothes, and people laughed, and I knew that, and people watched, and I seen that. And I would just leave before things were done because I was just so tired. I didn't know that I was passing my limits. I didn't know about to failure. I just knew that I should just go to a lighter weight because that's what friend said. He said, just keep going, just lower it down and you can make it. You'll be fine. Just keep going. And sometimes I would just leave. Screw it. I'm done. I didn't know that my body was telling me, "Hey man, you've done a lot and maybe you should take a break." Okay, I'll take a break. Days when I gave up, I felt like crap. That loser feeling, it came back. And after a year, I had lost 100 pounds, which was nice. It was great. I didn't change my diet at all, though, and I would brag about that, and people would kind of laugh, and then I'd be like, "Nah, I've lost 100 pounds." And they're like, "Well, that's pretty cool, but you got to change your diet." And that set me back a lot in my eyes, because if I had to change my diet, then this would be way different. Like things would be a lot crazier. And in my perspective, I think that I could have done more in that time. And I was feeling really good about myself at the time. I didn't really care about with anything, and eventually I started seeing all these differences. And I met a girl. She was great. I'll be the first to say, if you have a journey to go on, if you're trying to lose weight or get somewhere, attain a goal, don't take on new things. People included. I'm not saying don't make new friends, but don't draw yourself into a long-lasting situation that it takes a lot of work, because you're already boiling through your energy with all these other things. Like you have a lot on your plate, and a lot of the time it gets to you. Maybe you can, but I'm a one track person. I like to do things on my own. I like to make sure that things get done properly, and it can ruin things. I gave up on this gym after a while. The person that I was with didn't like where it was going in terms of where we were going, so I stopped. And it was housework and lawn work and She had horses, so I dealt with that. You know, like lots of my physical stuff was just, it was dealing with horse things, and it was nice, and I like animals, but it wasn't fulfilling for me. We ended up breaking up, and just before the end of that, like I had hopped on the scale and I had gained back 50 pounds, and I'm not into that. I don't want that. So I went back to the gym, and it's happened a few other times. Like, you know, everybody stops for a while, and if you're like me and I think it's a mesomorph or an endomorph. I think I don't know. It's it's the fat one. You know, you gain it really fast, and it's kind of shitty, but whatever. You know, you are what you are. You're born with who you are. It's me. I like myself. Everybody has these experiences in their own ways. Everybody has their own breakups and makeups and all the fun stuff in life that gives you character, is what I call it. It's a big journey, the best journey. It's called life. I've since started doing some boxing and MMA style stuff. Not all the time, but some days of the week I like to throw that in there for extra cardio based training. And I work out 6 to 7 days a week. I like to take Sundays off, but a lot of the time I find myself, I'll be on that bench, you know, one, two, I just gotta have some fun. I'm not very big yet. I've really been just trying to lose fat for the longest time, and now I'm getting into weight training more per se, and a lot of what I've learned I've been trying to share, but don't have the time to sit down with people. So I'm going to post these videos so that people can come and just watch them because they know me and they know what I've done for myself. So it's just, let's work with that, right? This can work in a lot of ways, but I'm doing this for me and not to be better than anybody else. I'm not trying to prove myself to anybody. I'm not like anybody. It's going to be a little different probably. If you want to check anybody else out, I can suggest it. His name is Elliot Hulse, and you'll get other people other than that, but this is the guy who, in my eyes, is somebody that you would want to learn from. Just from experience, he's done a lot of different things and has a lot of information that you can learn from, and it isn't overbearing. It's not too technical. He'll teach more than he'll confuse. That's all. Have a good day.